Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Motion Designer, and in today's video, we're gonna learn how to make a seamless FPV drone transition just like this. Alright, before we start the project, you can download the free stock footage from the link below. And if you want to support the channel, you can grab the project file from my Patreon page. And also you'll get access to all the premium templates on my Patreon. Alright, let's get started. I have two footage here. I'll drag and drop this inside the new composition icon, or you can just drop it on the timeline like that. And you can scrub through the timeline, and I want the text to sit somewhere around here. So I'll just scrub through the timeline, and maybe I'm gonna trim it somewhere here, right? So hold down Alt and the right square bracket to trim that. And first of all, I'll just drag the camera. So if you don't find this tracker, you can go up here in the window and you can find the tracker here. Okay, so select the footage and I'm gonna track the camera and sit back, relax, and After Effects is going to track the camera. Meanwhile, I want to talk about my course, which is Beyond Premiere. If you're just starting out with After Effects and you're coming from a Premiere Pro background and you want to learn some, you want to just get started with After Effects, I have a course for you. I also have a discount for you. If you use this coupon code MD2025, you'll get a discount. Go check out the link. Will be there in the description down below. All right, so here the tracking is done, and I'm going to scrub through the timeline and maybe find a place somewhere around here. If you can't see the markers, the track points like me, make sure you select this camera tracker effect on the effects and controls. That way you'll see this. Select these markers. If I left click and drag the mouse, you can just see that I've selected a bunch of points. I'm gonna right click, create solid and camera. So we have created solid. So right there you can see the solid is stick to that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a grid here, grid. And that way I can see the grid here. And let me just grab the text tool and type in the text. I'll just write in drone, and I'm going to use this font, and let's set this to black, a thick font, and maybe I'm going to turn on the italics, turn off the italics. Make this a 3D layer and select both of these layers and go to the end of the timeline here, and I'm gonna trim this. Hold down Alt and the right square bracket to trim that to that length, right? So to make it more organized. So once you turn that 3D, it disappears. So we're gonna bring it back there. I'm gonna select the solid, hit P to bring up the position. Select the position, Control C to copy it, and go to the drone text, Control V to paste it. So it's right there, but we're gonna fix the rotation, right? So we're just going there, here, and maybe I'm gonna rotate it this way, and maybe scale it up to 50. Okay. You can see that we have to bring the text a bit closer to the camera. So I'm gonna hit P and grab this Z axis and move it closer to the camera. And if I scrub here, you can see I still need to bring it closer to the camera, maybe somewhere around here. And the camera has to pass that text, right? So once you are happy with the Z position, you can just reframe the text so that the camera enters inside this O, right? So if I bring it close, if I adjust it from here, it will go inside like that. Okay, so that's really nice, but I think I have to rotate it somewhere like this. Okay, so it's going in like that, maybe a little bit like this, and yep, it's right there. Okay, so if I play it back now, you can see that it has passed, the camera is traveling through this letter O, right? So once you are happy with that, I can just close, maybe turn off the solid layer. We don't need that anymore. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to mask out this part. So the easiest way to do that is select the drone, select the text layer, right click, go to create and create shapes from text. So that creates the shape. And if I solo this, click on this and turn off the transparency, you can just rename this mask. And if I collapse this, go to the contents of this shape layer, I can just turn off all the other letters. Just for the O, I can just keep this, and maybe I'm gonna collapse this. And if I turn off this, you see that we just need this. So you can just turn off this. You don't have to delete it, just have to turn this off, and you can just collapse that back, right? So we can unsolo this layer. And right now you can see that you have just that, right? So we're gonna mask out that. So let's bring up the Trackmat options. Just click on these toggle switches, or you can just hit F4 on the keyboard. And I'm gonna parent pick with this, sorry, I'm gonna pick with this Trackmat to the mask layer. So right now it is just the opposite of what we want. So I'm gonna click on this and it will reverse it, okay? So it's going through that, right? And I can turn back the drone text. You can see that. You can just turn on the transparency layer so you have some transparency here. But we don't want the middle of this to be transparent throughout this timeline, right? So I'm going to animate the position, sorry, the opacity of the mask layer. So select the mask layer, hit T on the keyboard to bring up the opacity. And maybe I want this to end it somewhere here, set keyframe here, and maybe from here I want to reveal the layer. So I'm gonna hit 0. So select all the keyframes, F9 for easy ease, and right there. So right after that, you can just select all these layers, hold down Alt and right square bracket to trim this. All right, that's really nice. So right now we don't have a very realistic text, so it is very important to turn on the motion blur for the text layer and for the mask layer. But keep in mind, you have to keep the render engine in classic 3D. Make sure you are in classic 3D or else the motion blur will not work. So if you are in advanced 3D, you can see that the motion blur will not work. So make sure you check this classic 3D render. Okay. So once you are there, we will just bring out our second footage. I'm going to just drag and drop this just below all the layers. And if you scrub here, you can see that it's going there. So we have to retime the footage here, right? So once you can just select the mask, hit U to bring up the opacity keyframes so that we can know. So it starts from here, so we have to align this and right there. Okay, that's really cool. So if you play it back now, okay, if you think the transition is too fast, you can just make it slow by dragging this away and moving this footage just there. Okay, that's really smooth. You can see that. And really smooth. Okay, so once you are done there, you can just select all of these layers, the above list, except for the bottom footage. I'm gonna pre-compose this. Scene_1, hit OK. And there you have this. And if you want to add some more text here, you can just go ahead and, track this again. Okay, so hold on Alt, and I'm going to trim this layer, and I'm going to track this again. Track camera, and the same goes with this again. All right, the tracking is done. So just select these points here, these points, and create a solid and camera. And we're going to create a text and write 100%. After Effects. Okay, so make this a 3D layer, and I'm gonna make sure that this is below the scene 1 so that we're more organized. Select both these layers. I'm gonna trim it from here. Hold down Alt and the left square bracket, and let's just see. There you have it, and you can just copy this position of the solid. I'm going to copy the position and I'm going to paste it some on the text layer there. And all you have to do is you can just adjust the rotation like this, and maybe I'm going to move it up, and I'm going to scale it up, scale up the text. You can see that. That's really, really cool right there. And maybe I'm going to move this up a touch, something like that. And I'm going to move forward here, and I'm going to select the footage 3D camera tracker to reveal the tracking points. And I'm going to create a text here directly, and I'm going to create a text here. Let me scale it down and adjust the rotation like that. And maybe I'm going to write FPV drone and transition. Okay, and I think I'm going to set this FPV to a lighter font and maybe scale it down, and the same with the transition. Let's change it to the medium and something like this. You know, you can be creative. You can add some text animation with this. On this, you can just do what you want with the text. So I'll stick with this just for the sake of this tutorial, and maybe I'm going to trim this text from here and move it just below the scene 1, and there you have it right there. Okay, so that is pretty much it. You can just go ahead and pre-compose this again, Control Shift and C, and scene 2, and you can just you can just go on like that forever. Let me just turn off this, and bam, it's very, very simple, straightforward. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. Make sure you use this coupon code MD2025 while checking out, and the link to my course is down in the description down below. Go watch this next video, and I'll see you in the next one.